amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those four.
The world is once again on edge as breaking developments confirm that the fragile ceasefire between Iran and the United States has effectively collapsed, sending shockwaves across global capitals and raising the terrifying prospect of a wider war in the Middle East. What was once seen as a rare window of hope, a temporary pause in a rapidly escalating conflict, has now unraveled, exposing deep divisions, unresolved tensions, and a dangerous path forward that could reshape global stability for years to come. Just days ago, the ceasefire, brokered through intense diplomatic efforts and mediated by international actors, was hailed as a critical step toward de-escalation. But now, after marathon negotiations that stretched over 21 hours, officials have confirmed what many feared. No agreement was reached, and both sides have walked away without a deal, leaving the ceasefire hanging by a thread and the region teetering on the brink of renewed violence. Behind closed doors in Islamabad, negotiators from both nations engaged in what insiders described as intense but inconclusive discussions, attempting to bridge a gap that may simply be too wide to close. The United States reportedly presented what it called its final and best offer, while Iran stood firm, rejecting key demands, particularly those related to its nuclear program and regional influence. The failure to reconcile these differences has now cast serious doubt on whether diplomacy can still prevail in a conflict that has already caused widespread destruction and economic turmoil. This breakdown is not happening in isolation. It is the culmination of weeks of mounting tension, military escalation, and mutual distrust. The ceasefire itself, which came into effect only recently as a temporary 2-week pause, had already been fragile from the start, with both sides accusing each other of violations. Now, with negotiations stalled and no clear path forward, that fragile pause is rapidly disintegrating, and fears are growing that full-scale hostilities could resume at any moment. Across the Middle East, the implications are immediate and severe. Strategic waterways such as the Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes, are once again under threat. Iran has signaled that it may continue exerting control over the region, a move that could disrupt global energy markets and trigger a sharp rise in oil prices. Analysts are already warning of economic ripple effects that could be felt worldwide, from fuel costs to financial markets. Meanwhile, political reactions are pouring in from around the globe. Leaders are urging restraint, calling for renewed diplomatic efforts even as the situation deteriorates. Yet behind the scenes, there is growing concern that the window for diplomacy may be closing. Some officials have warned that continued failure to reach an agreement could push both sides toward more aggressive military postures, increasing the likelihood of direct confrontation. Inside Iran, the mood is tense and uncertain. While the temporary ceasefire had provided a brief moment of relief for civilians, the underlying economic and humanitarian challenges remain severe. Infrastructure damage, sanctions, and ongoing instability have left the country in a precarious position, with many fearing that a return to full-scale conflict would only deepen the crisis in Washington. The failure of the talks is being framed as a critical moment in U.S. foreign policy. Officials have emphasized that while diplomacy remains the preferred path, they are prepared to respond to any escalation. At the same time, critics argue that the breakdown highlights the limits of current strategies and the urgent need for a new approach to prevent further escalation. As tensions rise, military activity in the region is also drawing attention. Reports suggest that forces on both sides remain on high alert, with the potential for rapid escalation if provocations occur. The presence of U.S. troops and military assets in the region adds another layer of complexity, raising the stakes of any potential confrontation and increasing the risk of unintended consequences. What makes the situation particularly dangerous is not just the immediate risk of conflict, but the broader geopolitical implications. A renewed war between Iran and the United States could draw in regional allies and adversaries, potentially triggering a wider conflict that extends far beyond the Middle East. The involvement of global powers, the impact on energy markets, and the potential for disruption to international trade all contribute to a scenario